other life forms that may be watching this. I'm not familiar with every sort of germ that exists, so hello bacteria. It's Crash Bandicoot, guys! It's everyone's favorite platformer from the PlayStation era. You know, disregarding Spyro, because everyone knows, everyone wants a Spyro remake, but Sony's like, nah, we gotta go medieval. If we don't do medieval, then we're just screwing ourselves over. So we're getting a medieval remake instead of Spyro. All right, that's what's happening, and I have no ill will towards medieval. I love medieval. I just picked up both games Tuesday, and I can't wait to play them. I'll probably do a let's play on them or a review or something because they're definitely fun games. I played the first one a bit, and they're good games, but you know, Spyro would have made more sense, but I don't know, maybe Activision's holding out on Sony or something. I have no idea. Because this game did so well in terms of sales. It's the 4th best-selling PlayStation 4 game, I think. Like, it sold 2.50 million copies, or 2.5 million, I should say. And that's great, but this game is, like, mixed with me, right? So, on the one hand, I love it. I love it to pieces. On the other hand, the way it was handled after launch, the way Activision, I'm assuming Activision, handled it after a launch, talking about the jumping physics and stuff, the way they handled it was just not good, but I'm not going to bitch and moan about it. I'm just going to enjoy the fact that these games are being remade, because the Crash games were some of my favorite games as a kid. And the whole idea of the series coming back in general in this way is just amazing to me. Because, I mean, I personally thought it was dead. I mean, after Mind Over Mutants, which I never actually beat Mind Over Mutant. It's the only Crash game I just didn't bother with. I found it to be a bit too boring in general. I did beat Crash of Titans. I think Crash of Titans was alright. But Mind Over Mutant, something about it just didn't stick with me. It just... Nah, I was not into it. So for about 9 years, we had no idea if the series was coming back. We had rumors that Vicarious Visions was doing something, but they would just cancel it. It was just back and forth stuff. Until E3 of 2016, where, well, actually, it kind of started with PSX in 2015, where Sean wore that Crash shirt, and then that just became a trend thing, because in 2016, he wore a Wipeout shirt, and we got the Wipeout Omega Collection. And 2017, not Spyro, but medieval. I don't know, guys. It just seems a bit odd. I mean, honestly, I'm gonna be just, and you guys have to be honest here. Would you have rather seen a Spyro remake? Let's just say a Spyro 1 remake over a medieval remake. Because in the end, if they were gonna do all 3 Spyro games as a remake in a similar vein to Sane Trilogy, admittedly, it's gonna take a lot of work. Because the Sane Trilogy is lucky in the sense that they're remaking, you know, the Crash Bandicoot trilogy, and the games themselves obviously reuse level themes. The music is easier to replicate because it's in MIDI, because that's what they had to use for the Crash games, instead of actual XA audio. With Spyro, they're gonna have to. They'll have the meshes, I think. They'll have the meshes and the level design and all that. But then comes the question, are they going to remake every level and give as much detail as possible, or are they going to keep it minimalistic? You know, how are they going to do that? They're going to have to recreate all the music from scratch, unless they're just going to use the straight recordings of the original music. They might just do that. I'm not sure. It's definitely going to be a much more difficult project than the Crash trilogy in general. So I have no idea. I'm assuming they went with medieval. See, I don't know why they did, because medieval is more like a cult game than anything else. Even Wipeout, which is already kind of a niche, I wouldn't say it's a completely niche franchise, but it's definitely not one that's like really well known compared to others. It's mostly known in the UK, but even that has a much bigger fan base than Medieval. Medieval's fan base is just, it's just 2 games. There's just 2 games on the original PlayStation. There is the remake on PSP, but not a lot of people like that. They don't like that. So it's just, I don't know, it's just odd. I'm not sure what they're trying to do. All I know is that it's coming. It's a thing at some point. All we know is that it's fully remastered. I guess like Crash, I'm assuming. I don't know what to expect. It's a great game all around. The original game is very good from what I've heard, and from what I've played, it's really good. It's, I don't know. I kind of wish they did 2 as well, because the second game in particular is very expensive now. The first game is too, but the first game you can get on the PlayStation Store for $6, but they don't have the second game on the store. They just don't have it. The second game in general seems to be a bit odd, because it's where there's no region. The case is missing the ID number, the region, like the NTSC region thing, the PlayStation logo. It's just missing all the things on the spines. And this isn't like a thing exclusive to my copy. Every copy seems to have this issue. So I don't know. Is Medieval 2 just stuck in this limbo of this game exists, but we don't know? Like, I don't know. It's just a weird thing. I mean, I'm assuming they're not going to remake it, because with the Medieval remake on PS4, I'm assuming they're just taking the assets and everything from the PSP version, which is a bad idea because no one liked that version. So, oh, I just hope they treat it right, you know? I hope this isn't some type of cash grab, you know? Because they could easily do the same thing with Ape Escape, because Ape Escape had a remake on the PSP as well, and they could easily do the same thing there. So it's just, you never know. It's weird, because when they announced Medieval, I know I should be talking about Crash, but like, I'm still stuck on the Medieval thing. When they announced Medieval at PSX, I remember the reactions. People were just like, yeah, cool, but they weren't like, you know, with Crash, people were like cheering. Even Wipeout, you had someone who sounded like they had a seizure in the audience. But this, well, Medieval is like, eh. Even Parappa, I think, had a better reaction. And Parappa is also a franchise that's just kind of, well, not but it's just not as like big as other ones on Sony. So it was big back in the day on the PS1, but like it wasn't something that was, it wasn't like, it wasn't like it was well known, and well, it was well known, whatever. The point is, it existed primarily on the PS1. It had a PS2 sequel, I think, but it was primarily a PS1 mascot. Kind of like Crash, Spyro, Ape Escape. Well, Ape Escape kind of went on the PS2, so maybe not so much Ape Escape. But Medieval was purely a PS1 franchise. It never really took off anywhere else, because the only thing it was also on was the PSP, but that was a remake. So, I don't know. Looking into it just seems odd in general. But people, I guess the fans are happy as long as it's the original game and not the remake. It's not the PSP version, you know? Because I've seen video footage of the PSP version, and it seems like it's more, I wouldn't say story-driven, but it looks like there's more dialogue, it seems. It seems like there's more cutscenes and more dialogue with other characters that I've never seen in the original game. It just seems a bit odd. But, I don't know. I'm still gonna pick it up because, well, maybe, oh, I don't know. It really depends. If it is the PSP remake, I might not pick it up because, I don't know, I feel like they should really do the original games, you know? So, we'll see what happens. Shadow of the Colossus comes out in February, early February. Can't wait to play that. I'm hoping they fix a lot of the issues with the controls, because if they do, then I'm all for it. Because if the controls are fixed and stuff like the physics engine where you'll constantly trip or all that stuff, if they fix that up, then I think the game could really excel. You know, it really could, because besides those issues, I think that game is really, really, I was about to say majestic. I shouldn't say majestic, but it's very, how would you say, it's just breathtaking at times, especially the fifth Colossus, the bird. I want to say the bird's name is AV something, like Avian, I'm not entirely sure. I could be really screwing that up, the name up. But that one's crazy because it's a huge bird and you're crossing it like it's a train, like a moving train, like in a Western or something. And it's just, it's very cool. The music and everything just works so well in that. So I can't wait to see that. That'll be cool. See, that's a remake I can kind of get behind, even though it already had a remaster on the PS3. I can get behind that if the main point is to really fix up the controls and stuff. If that's what they're doing, I'm all for it. And of course, the improved visuals also, plus the game looks great. I'm not really talking about Crash Insane. It's definitely one of those games I'm just mixed on, because on the one hand, it's very impressive in the sense that they were able to remake all 3 games, and all 3 of them basically have that same amount of quality to them. And that's why it's kind of unprecedented. And that's why people, I think, are kind of confused in a sense. Why isn't Medieval a remake of 1 and 2? Why is it just 1? Why, you know, this and that? And I think that's kind of why it's unprecedented, because it's all 3 games with the same remastered quality. That's just kind of, that's a big task. I mean, the Crash games aren't necessarily big, in a sense. They're not big games. I wouldn't say they're simple platformers. Well, they kind of are, but they're just platformers, you know? But at the same time, remaking everyone with the amount of detail each one has is not an easy task. And, you know, like I said, all the stuff regarding the whole jumping physics, patches, stuff like that, how they kind of ignored the game after the DLC launch. You know, that isn't really a good feeling, but that's mostly, I'm assuming, that has to be Activision's doing. That has to be Activision's doing. I think Vicarious Visions really does care about the franchise. It's just, they're stuck with Act. But I really do think that there is a lot of love and care put into these remakes, whatever you want to call them. It's very hard to call these what they are. Are they remakes? Are they remasters? I don't know. I have no idea what to call these anymore. Remakes, remasters. It's remake because it's an entirely new engine and everything. It's not really a remaster. Like the Shadow Colossus PS3, that's a remaster. That's not really a remake. The Jak and Daxter collection, those are remasters, not remakes. This is a full-blown remake. This isn't a remaster. This isn't like upscaling to like 1080p and that's it. This is a new engine, so all that blah blah blah. Medieval, I'm assuming, is supposed to be a remake or remastered. It says remastered. What's the difference? Because Sean Layden said these games were remastered from the ground up. Remade would make more sense because these aren't using the original source code, so they're not the original games in a sense. They're remade. I don't know. You know what? The whole debate between remake and remaster and remade is just whatever. Whatever, guys. I don't know. I give up. Oh, that was close. I seem to do better in games if I'm talking non-stop and not paying attention to how I'm doing. I seem to do really well. But then again, it's just the first few levels of this game. They're not really that difficult. The most difficult one we've encountered so far is probably the Great Gate. The Great Gate. Is that what it's called? Or is it Native Fortress? I think Native Fortress is the second one. But the 2D gate levels are can be very difficult, especially the second one at the end of the first island. That's Native Fortress. The first one's the Great Gate. I try to remember the level names. I know it's kind of ridiculous, but I try to remember as much of them as I can. But other than that, like, this level's kind of difficult. The top-down view of it. What's cool about the first Crash game is that it kind of does everything. You have the going into the screen, like the forward platforming. You have the boulder levels where you're going towards the screen. You have the 2D levels, and then you have the top-down view levels, like up the creek and I think that's what it's called, up the creek and upstream, or the stream, or whatever that one's called, and Cortex Power also has that. So it's kind of a blend of every type of platforming camera angle view and all that. So it's pretty cool. What's interesting about this fight, and that I like, is that in the original USA and European versions of the game, Papu Papu had 3 hit points. But in the Japanese version, he was given 5, I'm guessing, to make it so that the boss wasn't so damn easy. He's still pretty easy, but 5 hits now kind of makes it last a bit longer, so I'm glad they incorporated that in. I didn't think they would. That's a pretty neat, I don't know if you would call it a Easter egg. Not really an Easter egg, but it's a cool little nod to that version. It's still easy. Seeing his hut and everything reminds me of the whole Twinsanity thing where you go into Papu's village, and I do kind of want that. I don't want a Twinsanity remake. I don't want a remake. I don't want remakes. I don't want that to be the focus. I do want like an open world Crash game though, in the style of Twinsanity, because that would be really cool. I think Crash could benefit from that. I guess you would call it world building, not in the sense of the Titan games, but in the sense of like keeping it in the universe and not doing, you know, like trendy jokes that the Titans game did, you know, because now it's dated. Now it's very dated. Just keep, I don't know, just, you know. I do like Crash of Titans in a sense because it does go into detail about the the Uka Uka tree. The Uka Uka tree, which is on Wampa Island, which is the second island in this game. Apparently that's where Uka Uka is imprisoned at the end of, well, not at the end of, but like that's where you see him in Crash 3 is on, well, I don't know if that's canon. I don't know, the point of the matter is, in the Titans canon, I can't believe there's a canon for Crash, but there is. Oh god, I almost said that. But the there's the Uka. I guess it's the Uka Uka tree, which is where he was imprisoned and where he makes the mojo power and stuff like that. And it's on Wampa Island. I guess that's canon. I guess. I mean, I guess it would make sense. I guess. I always thought that was cool. The fact that Uka Uka was always working in the shadows. He was still around, but he was just imprisoned. It's kind of funny how this evil, powerful mask was just kind of stuck in a temple. I mean, I guess Aku Aku just had these enchanting charms that kept him in the temple, I guess. I don't know why I'm bothering doing these bonus rounds, because I don't have the color gem to get all the crates to begin with, but I just like doing them anyway. It's a force of habit. It's a force of habit. I actually destroyed one of the Brio tokens, so we can't actually go to his bonus round. So we're probably going to get pelted by at least more than 20 crates. But as a kid, I always wanted to see a Aku Aku, Uka Uka, like, I guess you would say, story before they were masks. This kind of war between the two and how they became masks and stuff. And I always thought it was interesting. I always thought Papu was a descendant of the of Aku Aku and Uka Uka because of the name structure and stuff. And I don't know. I always wanted to see what would happen with that. And obviously, I don't think anyone is really in the development team is really looking into something like that, you know. But I don't know. It'd be cool to see, just to see if they would actually go out of the way and make a story for both of them. I'm sorry, Crash, yeah. Back labor is a pain. I'm rambling, I'm just saying, it'd be cool to see, you know? Just them making this story about both of them. I always thought about writing it, but it's just kind of like, it's a bit too far-fetched at times on what they were or who they were beforehand. I think someone actually did do a fan art of Aku Aku and Uka Uka before they were masks. They were human. And I remember they drew Uka Uka as if he was in a very similar physical structure to Papu, very fat, but he wasn't like, it wasn't like it was apparent. He was just very, very big. And Aku Aku was very thin. So, I don't know, it's just interesting to think about. The whole lore beyond Crash Band. What happened to the islands, the 3 islands beforehand, you know? And when you really think about it, the first game kind of models itself a lot around Donkey Kong Country. You start off in areas that are very much untamed. They're just kind of, you know, they're just kind of untamed areas of like the islands. Then you get to the second island and it's a bit more ruins. It's a bit more of like this was a civilization back then, but now it isn't. And that's kind of how Donkey Kong Country does it with like the ruin levels and stuff that are just abandoned. And then you get to the third island, which is mostly machinery, and that's kind of how it goes for Donkey Kong Country as well. You get to the factory, and like these are man-made features, not like nature-based. And you know, it's kind of the same structure. It's kind of shocking. This is the first time I've ever been able to do this level without dying, because that last warthog is very hard to jump over now because of just how I'm guessing the hit detection works on it. They obviously never fixed it, and it's actually very difficult to jump over. I'm surprised I did that all in one take. I really am. This is just a weird. Like I said, I do love this trilogy. I do. It's just, I don't know, some things. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing the time trials. The time trials don't make sense for Crash 1 and 2. You know, Crash 2, it makes somewhat sense, but some levels you have to question, did they test these out, or did they just throw them in at the last minute? Crash 1 kind of does the same thing. It kind of reeks of laziness at times, but because some of the times they pick don't make sense. Of course, there's leaderboards as well that someone already broke with 1.1 millisecond. You gotta love those times, man. Maybe that guy really worked hard on that. It's weird because at that point you have to realize, okay, he must have modded his PS4, but PS4 modifications, is that really a thing at this point? I mean, I know there's been some breakthroughs in it, but I didn't think it was that far into it, or that far along. Because PS4 and Xbox One, their security is much better than previous iterations, so, I don't know. I did add custom firmware to my PS3. Well, why didn't I land on that crate? What happened there? Did I just glitch through that? I did add custom firmware to the to my PS3, and now it's pretty snazzy, I should say. It's great because now I can actually play PS2 games on it, because it's a PS3 that can't play PS2, but with the custom firmware you now can. It's funny how that works, all things considered. You basically have to use the PS2 Classics emulator, and that'll typically do it. So now I can play The Simpsons Skateboarding in 1080p, a classic game. I do want to do a 100% playthrough of that game, because it's probably one of the worst Simpsons games, but I also kind of laugh at it a lot because it's kind of entertaining in the sense of how jerky and janky it is. It is very difficult because the whole design of everything is just kind of haphazard. But I'm still willing to give it the 100% treatment because I like The Simpsons enough to do that. Don't know why I'm going for these bonuses, because I don't have the red gem, which will get me up higher in the level, but what's interesting about this bonus room is that they actually use the same background that the level is using. No other level does this. Only this one does it. I don't know why it does. It just does. It's funny that this level does this because the other level, the Great Gate, which has the same background, I think, it doesn't do that. It's weird. Is that just something they just added? Like, oh, I don't know. It's a bit weird. It's a bit weird, but I'll just accept it. I hate these turtles. These turtles are just a pain in this game now because you slide off of them very easily. So, just gotta be careful. Just wait till we get to like the Road to Nowhere and the High Road. Those will be fun, especially the High Road. Road to Nowhere doesn't really give me much trouble, but the High Road probably will. Which is always good. I hate these flame things. The hitboxes for these things are ridiculously big. What's funny is that the hitboxes for these flames, I think, is a square, like an actual square, because I don't know. Maybe you'll see it if I'm too reckless. You'll see it happen, but like it seems like the flames are a bit too high, like the hitboxes. That was actually really close. That was really close. Like should have got hit there actually. Like that's how high they are. So we gotta be careful. It's funny that circle doesn't spin anymore, because in Crash 1, circle also allowed you to spin, but here they just limited it to square. Which I mean, that makes sense, but, you know. Oh dear. This part kind of gets me sometimes. I just have to... Hup. There we go. And these little trick with here, if you spin as you jump up here, you actually activate the ones above you. See, that's what I mean about hit detection. How the hell does that even happen? I mean... How does that even work? I like how I still go for crates, even though I can't get them all. It's like, if you see a crate and you don't go for it, I just think it's a mistake. You have to get it. Regardless if you can get all of them in the level, you still have to go for it. You can't just leave it alone. Ugh. So far so good. I haven't died yet. Knock on wood here. I don't actually have, well, I guess my desk, but still, you know. I'm sure I'll die at some point. The dark levels always give me issues, and the lab. For some reason, the lab in this version gives me a lot of trouble. It's the timing of things, I think. It's just different. Up the creek, so it is up the creek. What's weird about this island is that for some reason in the original game, you went clockwise around it. But in this one, you're going counterclockwise around it. I don't know why they flipped the island. They mirrored it for some reason. Why? I have no idea. There's no real explanation for it. It just does it. Oh god. I don't like having Aku in this level because his speed, he changes his speed, and I don't like it. Okay. It's fine. I hate doing that jump. That jump right there is a bit finicky because you can slide off easily. Can I get rid of Aku, please? I wish I don't trust you. I don't trust having Aku when I have to do constant jumping from platform to platform, especially in Jaws of Darkness with the blue gem path. That can be very annoying. Well, we actually get the crate gem in this level because we don't need any sort of fancy schmancy gem. There's no gem pathways. It's all just based on, oh god, Jesus, that was close. Oh man, I don't know how I survived that because I should have phased through that because, like I said, the hit detection on those logs is kind of iffy. Kind of iffy. So it's funny, as soon as you hit the water in this level, Crash just kind of collapses and drowns immediately. It's like, huh, is this water just toxic or something? Like, why does it just collapse? Alright, so down there, you won't notice this. There's no outline for the crates down there. You would think this would be something they would add, but they didn't. This is still kind of like the original game where you just have to guess what this crate over here does. Jump on it and... that jump always scares me. I never failed that jump, but it always still scares me because I feel like I'm going to miss. And so you hit that and it activates that. There is an extra life on those lily pads, but trust me, it's not worth it. It is not worth it. It is not. Just ignore that. Get those 2 crates by hitting that TNT and you're good. That's really the only real puzzle in this level that might trip up people. Because they have no idea what that's going to do. There's no indication on what that does. And I'm surprised that Vicarious Visions didn't add new outlines there. It's kind of odd that they left that the same. But what are you gonna do? I mean, you'll figure it out. They give you enough hints, I guess, you know, with that pathway, but oh yeah, apparently there was a Nintendo Direct today. I know, weird thing to segue into. Whoa, Crash. What's happening, man? Whoa, what is happening, Crash? There we go. Yeah, there was a Nintendo Direct today. It was a mini Direct, apparently. And most of it seemed to be like announcements of ports, I guess. Donkey Kong Country Tropical. Well, there we go. Now I have absolutely no reason to buy a Wii U at this point. Because that was the only game I was really interested with the Wii U, and now there's no point of buying one. I'm still not really keen on getting a Switch until I see Metroid Prime 4 footage. If it looks like it was treated well, then maybe I'll get the Switch to get that and Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. But it really depends on how well they do Prime 4. It has to look authentic. It can't look like something that's, you know, off, you know? So I need to see. That's probably going to be at E3, I'm hoping. I'd love to see gameplay footage of it, not like a cutscene or like a cinematic trailer. I need to see gameplay, please. And if it looks good, then, you know, I'll get it. Then maybe that'll persuade me more. An F-Zero game would probably that would right away convince me to get a Switch. Is a new F-Zero game, but we all know that's never happening. Never happening. I have to stick with Wipeout Omega Collection, which is probably my favorite, like, futuristic racing game. I think it tops F-Zero GX, to be honest, because it is so polished. It is so fun. The tracks are all great, except for Sabenko Climb from Wipeout HD. That track's awful. Hate that track. I don't think anyone likes that one. That's the snow one. And it's just, I don't like it. There's some other track from 2048 I don't like. I can't remember what it was, though. It might have been Rockaway Stadium, I think. No, Rockaway Stadium's fine. I don't know. But anyway, we got Ripperoo here. And the timing on the TNT is actually different. They don't speed up like they did in the original game where they go, you know, they don't speed up. They act like a regular TNT countdown, which I guess was the same speed technically in the original game. They just sounded faster. I don't know. I'm going to try to do my best to time this, though. It's a bit more difficult because I think he jumps faster. I think? I don't know. I don't know what Ripperoo does here. He's just doing his own thing. You can't really blame him. He doesn't have his laugh, of course. His laugh is different in this, which I think it's Jess Harnell who's doing Crash's voice as well that does Ripperoo. And Jess Harnell actually did the voice for, what's his name in Wrath of Cortex? Wo-Wo? Or is it Lo-Wo? The fourth elemental mask, the wind one in Wrath of Cortex. So there's that. Most of the voice actors for this game come from the Titan game. So you have Lex Lang. Well, actually, Lex Lang is from Twinsanity, to be more correct. So you have Lex Lang for Cortex. I forgot who played Embryo. It's someone from Futurama, though. I think it's the guy Phil Lamar. Is that who plays him? I don't remember who plays. Or Maurice someone plays Embryo, and I think he plays someone in Futurama, I think. And Coco's played by, oh God, who is it? Is it Debbie Derryberry, right? Is that who it is? I don't know. That could be a random name I made up. It's not Vicky Winters. Vicky Winters played Coco in the second game, in the original second game, but that's not who it is. I don't like having Aku Aku here. I don't like having him in this level. So here's the thing. Here's a thing they changed for the Crash 1. You can die in levels now and still get the gem. However, it has to be a clear gem. If the level has a color gem, the original game's logic applies where once you hit a checkpoint, you can't die once. So in this level, there's a green gem, there's a color gem, so we're gonna have to do our best to not die. What's funny is most of the color gems are in the third island, which is mostly the difficult stuff, especially Slippery Climb, so we just have to be careful. So yeah, thinking about voice actors again, who plays, like you have John DiMaggio playing Tiny and Uka Uka again, but this time it doesn't sound, because I remember Uka Uka in oh wait, I don't think John DiMaggio played Tiny in the Titan games. I don't know who played Tiny in those games, but he had the Mike Tyson impersonation, which I thought was a bit odd. But yeah, Uka Uka in the Titan games sounded very much like, oh God, I'm gonna get another Aku Aku mask up here. Oh God, I don't think I want this. I don't want this. Oh, I missed that life, but I don't really, oh, you know what, actually maybe I do want this. Okay, all right, fine. Maybe I did want that. So yeah, basically, I'm just still trying to think. I think, who comes back to play Entropy? I think that's Corey Burton who comes back to play, or is it Michael oh, I don't know. No, Corey, sorry, I'm messing up this poor dude's name. Corey Burton comes back to play Engine. Because in the Titan games, Engine was played by Nolan North. But he's one of the few, I think he's the only person from those games that didn't come back. He didn't. Engine. So they got Corey Burton from Wrath of Cortex. And he had like, what, 2 lines in Wrath of Cortex? Okay. What happened? I thought I hit it. Alright, okay. Alright, it's fine. So, yeah, blah blah blah, talking about voice acting. It's curious. I wonder what they would do for the Spyro games. Would they, how would they handle that? Would they, I'm assuming they would bring back, see, that's weird. Did they bring back the voice actors from A Hero's Tale? Because that's the last time all the classic characters had voice actors and stuff. So did they bring back... Did Jess Harnell play Spyro in Hero's Tale? I think he did. I think Jess Harnell did play Spyro in the Hero's Tale. I don't like his voice in that game, though. I really do like Kenny's, you know, I think a lot of people think Kenny's Spyro is the best Spyro, so... But I don't know if it'd be that easy to get him. Because, you know, he's busy now with, like, SpongeBob and all this other stuff. I don't know. Because, you know, back then, Kenny was on SpongeBob, but I think he had more time. Nowadays, I think he doesn't. But I don't know. I guess it just depends on everything. And then, of course, you have... Wait, did Clancy Brown play any characters in... Oh, God, that was close. Like, who played Ripto? I don't know. See, I don't know the voice actors. Like, I know all the original voice actors for Crash. You know, you had Clancy Brown, Mel Winkler as Aku Aku. He stayed as Aku Aku the longest. He was part of the series the longest, I think, because his last time as Aku Aku was actually in Twinsanity. Everyone else changed except him. Because he's just perfect. He's just the perfect Aku Aku. I like Greg Eagles' Aku Aku in this game. I kind of like it in Titans as well. I think he's a bit too humorous for his own good. But, you know, what are you gonna do? All right, get rid of this bat family. Ah, forget it. I'll let them live. Oh, God. Well, so close to the end. We just need to really time this correctly. I don't like... Well, timing this is easy enough. It's all about patience. But when you're like me and grew up with Sonic the Hedgehog, patience is not key. Yeah, I should have went there, but I didn't. I was not paying attention. It's very difficult to do these with time trials. Let me tell you, Crash Speedrun, it really isn't. The level design is not built around it. Crash 2 even. Crash 2, it's just not built around it. It really isn't. I mean, it is and it isn't. You have levels that are way too easy and levels that are way too hard. There's no real balance. Crash 3 did it well enough, but... Meh. Okay, I'm gonna just not kill that one, because I feel like if I spin, I'll drop faster to my death. Huh? Okay. Interesting thing, I don't think you were able to spin into those lizards in the original game. You would just bounce off. So I'm glad you can spin into them, because jumping on them was annoying. Okay, this bonus room is annoying. Alright, because you have these crates. Now, you want to just spin into them to get up here. Okay, no, that's not what I want. The opposite of what I want. Okay. That's gonna break. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 5. Break. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because if you leave a bouncing crate alone long enough, after you bounce on it once and leave it alone long enough, it'll just break the very next time you hit it. Oh, God. That one always gives me trouble. You can get a lot of Wampa food if you know what you're doing. I mean, 111 is pretty much a lot. Okay. Now, these turning platforms can be a bit weird. I've seen a glitch where they just spin. Like, even if you're not touching them, they'll spin anyway. I've seen it on the Crash Reddit. Never had it happen to me. I thank the Lord it's never happened to me. Because that would be horrendous. Alright, I hate this lizard. This lizard is just trying his best to screw up my day. You know, just be slow. I wouldn't rush through this. There we go. See? Now we got this one last one. All we have to do is make it so we hit that crate. There we go. Now, there's Wampa fruit there I can collect, but I'm not risking it. I have a feeling I would screw that up, so I'll just leave those there for the bats to eat. See, I'm very good to the environment. Yay! Oh, boy. So far, so good. We're going back to the Wampa Islands too. Oh, God. Oh, wait, the next level is the Ruins level. Temple Ruins, I believe is what it's called. And And this level can be a bit annoying because it has bats too. Yep, Temple Ruin. So it has a clear gem, so if we die, which I don't think we will, this level isn't really that difficult. I think the first level where we'll actively possibly die is the Sunset Vista. I think. If not that, it might be Generator Room, because that level is a bit more difficult in the remake. So Temple Ruins actually got probably one of the biggest upgrades because most of the level was in total darkness. In the remake, they really added a lot of walls and structures in it, so it feels a bit more full. So yeah, I remember the original game, it was pretty much just darkness. It's funny because with the Generator Room, that level was also mostly just darkness, and they kind of kept to that theme in the remake. It's mostly still just darkness. Like, there's not a lot of detail beyond that. But in here, they really added a lot of detail. And visuals and whatever you want to call it. So this part with the bats is annoying because you have to be careful because they will keep going through this tunnel. And you have to jump out of this tunnel. You just have to wait for them. Watch. If I jumped right now, they'd hit me. Oh, up. I'm still waiting. Still waiting. I don't trust it. I really don't trust this. Okay, now they don't show up. All right, fine. Whatever. Whatever, okay. I guess I was wrong. You should see a previous recording I did of this where I got hit all 3 times by them because I'm just unlucky. I like how one of those monuments looks like just Squidward's house. Looks like an Easter Island head. One thing I forgot to mention that I don't really talk about within Sane is the soundtrack. Like I said before, they remade the entire soundtrack because they had access to MIDIs because the Crash games used MIDIs instead of XA audio, just due to how the games worked and how they loaded and all that junk. I'd say it's good. I mean, there's some things I kind of wish were a tad better. I think that, see, the bats came during that section. I'm going to wait right here because I'm just waiting. So the MIDIs, some of them just don't sound right at times, especially in Crash 2, the snow levels with the bear and just the regular on-foot snow levels. They sound a bit off. The bear one in particular sounds really off. I don't like. But it's serviceable enough. It really made me realize how much of the Crash Bandicoot music, it's not so much that it's not memorable. It's memorable, but it's not like Sonic music or Spyro music. It isn't, I don't know what the right word here is. It's serviceable music, but I don't think a lot of it really works. As like Crash 1 music in particular, I don't think is really that special. 2 probably has the best soundtrack in terms of just how crazy it is. 3, I do like the motorcycle music in 3. That song is engraved in my memory for years because of how good it is. And I love Entropy's song, of course. But you know, it's not the same as Sonic or Spyro music. It doesn't have that same kind of, I don't know what the right word is. It doesn't have the same feeling, I guess. That's the best way of putting it. Whew. Okay. So, I think we're gonna do one more level before we end this part, and the level after this is actually Road to Nowhere, so a good place to leave off is to leave off finishing that level if we can finish it. I think we can. I have faith in myself. I think we can do it. I think we can do Road to Nowhere. I think we can. We're gonna try. We're gonna try. Alright. Here we go. Road to Nowhere. I'm sure I'll be fine. I'm sure I'll be fine. It shouldn't be that much of an issue. I always liked how these levels looked in the original. I like the fog and the whole castle in the background. It's just like, you know, an image, but like, oh, they still have it in this version. Oh god, I don't really want Aku Aku for this, do I? I mean, I have no choice. Well, actually, no, I can't get all the crates in this level anyway. Good, I can do it. I think. Oh boy. Actually, this might be a good thing, because now I get to get rid of that easily. And, oh god. Alright. Get rid of that pig. The Aku Aku masks, the invincibility actually didn't kill those pigs in the, or warthogs in the original game. You would just hop over them. They do in this game though, which I appreciate. I really do appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, hi little friend. Ah! God, I didn't realize you were gonna come in for a smooch. Alright, okay, see ya. Oh, Jesus. Crates. I mean, why not? I mean, this is probably the most simplistic level design in the game because there's really no oh, there's a path right there I can't take yet, but still, it's mostly a straight path. I shouldn't say mostly. Well, yeah, mostly because that isn't a straight path, so it's not all straight. Yeah, so you know what I mean, guys. I hope you know what I mean. We. I don't know why I said we. Alright, I think there's a warthog in this one. Nope. Okay, in the next one. Right. Hi, friend. Like golf? Oh, dear. Alright. There's 2 grid sections left, and it's with turtles. And after that, it's the end of the level. So I think we got through the hard part. Those beginning parts, jumping, it's a bit difficult. This bonus room's interesting because it's actually just a, what do you call it? A puzzle, more or less. It's not really based on jumping. It's just based on puzzle, quote unquote. That's not really a puzzle. That was one of the easiest puzzles in existence, but you get the idea. I always wait for every crate to explode before I leave. Even though I'm pretty sure this game will count it, I'm always afraid that it won't, because that's sometimes what happened in the original games. Especially 1 and 2. 2 did that as well in one of the bonus rooms. Oh god! Oh, I didn't time that right. I thought I was done. Hang 8, or not Hang 8, I think it was Air Crash, where the bonus room in that one, there was one crate next to TNT that wouldn't explode if you left it too quickly, I think. Obviously, that isn't carried on to here. I'm just, you know, still scared. So we did it. Woo! Okay, so I think I'm going to end it here. We'll continue on with, I think the next level is Boulder Dash, and then Sunset Vista, Koala Kong, and all that. So with that being said, thank you all for watching. I hope I did not bore you with that whole remake talk at the beginning of the game. I was just so focused on Medieval for some reason, and I wanted to get into that. But I hope you all enjoyed. Part 2 will be uploaded, obviously, sometime in the future. I mean, it can't be uploaded in the past. So thank you all again for watching, and I hope you have a great day or night, you know, in case you're in Australia watching this for some reason and it's nighttime, and you know, it's like, why would I'm not good with goodbyes, all right? Shut up.